morning, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Scott Ingen.
I'm Saquon, and don't forget, before we get started here, you can always watch this, listen to this on your own time by visiting our InForum YouTube channel. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform, and you can find us on inforum.com/podcast under the InForum Minute. Someone is a little impatient today.
Yeah, I'm Scott. I'm Dillon.
Oh,
by
yeah,
the way,
and
guys.
this is Dillon, you
Jeez.
guys. We should
Part
probably,
of the team, too.
We should probably introduce him, but that's Dillon. And Dillon is telling us about weather, because he is a meteorologist here.
And weather is a big story. We all know it's coming.
Yes.
It's already starting today. Like this morning, looking at radar, it looks like there's a possibility of some thunder snow. It's hard to tell, of course, just looking at radar. But if you guys are hearing like thunder with snow, let us know. Like we are seeing it on radar, we just can't confirm it. There's like a band of mixed precipitation moving its way from central North Dakota up towards Grand Forks. Going to cause some slick roads. This is not the main event, though. This is just like a start of something moving through this morning. There's a winter weather advisory in effect for this until noon today.
Yeah.
The main event kicks off later on tonight, and that's where things get ugly tomorrow morning for First News. I know we're planning. I'll be outside. We've already planned all that team coverage for you guys tomorrow morning, waking up for your travel plans. So that's going to be a big thing. It's probably starting off Southern Valley, rain, and like freezing rain, sleet, transitioning to snow throughout the day Thursday. The farther north and west you are, that's where it'll probably be more just snow.
So you're telling me this snow system is now giving us a warning before?
Yeah, pretty much. This is a practice
Yeah,
run,
it's like
I
a little
guess.
practice.
Oh my goodness.
Can you guys handle it? You know?
Here we
Exactly.
go.
So-
First big one of the year, right?
Yeah. Lydia's about to go talk. But I just posted an article to InForum.
Oh yeah.
Yes, about all of this stuff, and our team continues to update that throughout the rest of the day. So if you ever want to check that in, new alerts get updated. There's 7 of us, and we continue to update that throughout
Nice.
the day. So check that out on InForum. It gives you pretty much what you need to know. And then our newscast, of course, we will continue to update you. 11 o'clock, all the newscasts tonight, tomorrow morning. So
Yeah.
it's going to get cold. So
Yeah, and you're going to want to tune into WDAY and watch First News tomorrow. But Lydia's on right now, so I want to turn your attention to her for now.
Raindrops collecting on that camera lens there. So we do have some rain out to the southeast, as well as some fog. Check out the visibility map. Things are still fairly soupy near that North Dakota-South Dakota border and over onto the Minnesota side. Visibility looking okay here in Fargo, but we are on the edge of a little bit of rain and even some freezing rain where you notice some of that pink. A little bit further to the northwest, there is some snow, and the radar picking up on some thunder and lightning with that snow.
Lydia just said it. Yes, thunder and lightning with some of that snow. And you can see it's moving its way off to the north and east slowly, but it is moving that direction. And also there is some fog this morning that we just saw. Oh, that's mostly off. I'm sorry, I got to readjust everything. But that's
Come on,
off
Dillon, just messing
into
things
Lakes
up.
Country. So a lot of weather going on.
Yeah.
All right.
And continue to talk about that. So
Yeah,
Cool.
if you want to see Dillon out in the elements tomorrow, make sure you come join us on
Yes.
First News, because that'll be pretty entertaining.
of course.
So. All right, Dillon, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's talk about election results. We know as you guys are waking up this morning, that is a big talker right now. So this morning I was out live talking about some of Minnesota's key races. So first, gosh, that was a race that a lot of people had their eyes on, right? Scott Jensen, you have Tim Walz, incumbent as well. Incumbent Democratic Governor Tim Walz did end up, taking the win on that one. And he will now be serving a second term as the state's governor. We talked about this on First News today, that early numbers did show that it looked like Walz was going to win, by a pretty big landslide there. But then Scott Jensen actually ended up closing that margin a little bit to within about like 8 points or something like that. So, I thought that was pretty interesting. But again, Tim Walz is reelected for yet another term as Minnesota governor.
Yes, also in Minnesota, another key race was the Attorney General.
Yeah.
Of course, the sitting Attorney General was Keith Ellison, and he did win re-election over Republican Jim Schultz. Although, Schultz did put up a fairly good fight in this one. It was a very close race. And I think one of the big factors that played into this was, of course, the crime rates in Minneapolis,
Definitely.
especially in the wake of, everything revolving around George Floyd. That's been a big topic there for a couple years now, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but Keith Ellison is going to stay as the Attorney General there in Minnesota.
Yeah. Minnesota's 7th congressional district race, of course, Republican incumbent U.S. Representative Michelle Fischbach was reelected, which I think is kind of funny because I did cover her, winning the election a few years back, so I think that's kind of cool. But she did face 2 opponents in this election. Democrat Jill Abasane and Travis Bull Johnson of the Legal Marijuana Now party. Fischbach was considered a stronghold for her party going into this race. She proved that, winning more than 65% of all of those votes. So, yeah.
Another very tight local race in Minnesota was for District 4 state senator. Now, that area includes the Red River Valley, parts of it like Moorhead, Detroit Lakes, and the surrounding areas. Democrat Rob Kupec will now be filling that seat for the next 4 years. He defeated Republican Dan Bomer, winning 52% of the popular vote.
Yeah. Now taking a look at North Dakota, we want to start with the race for U.S. Senate. Incumbent Republican John Hoeven, of course, has now reclaimed his spot for a third term as U.S. Senator for the state. He was able to beat out 2 other competitors for that seat, including Democratic nominee Katrina Christensen and Rick Becker, of course, who joined the race as an independent just a few months ago.
Now, if you remember back in June for the primary, the Republican primary, there was just a handful of votes that separated the candidates for Cass County State's Attorney. So we obviously kept a close eye on this race.
Yeah.
For the midterm election, it was just about as close. So Ryan Youngren, the chief criminal prosecutor in the office, faced off against another longtime member of the office, Kim Hegvik. Now, the latest numbers this morning showed that Hegvik was winning by a very slim margin of just about 650 votes. And so currently, she's going to be predicted as the winner.
Yeah.
The current state's attorney, Birch Burdick, is retiring after holding that position since 1998. So
Crazy.
a changing of the guards, that's
Definitely,
for sure.
yeah. Of course, race for Cass County Sheriff did end in a landslide victory, with Sheriff Jesse Jahner being reelected to that position. So Jahner came out on top, beating Matthew King with 80% of the votes. Remember, there was a lot of controversy surrounding this race, especially after that internal investigation that was launched, and it was into a leaked nude photo of a Cass County lieutenant that was sent to a deputy. All of this happened, right, and it all happened while Jahner was a sheriff. There was also some speculation that his competitor, Matt King, actually was involved in that investigation in some way, some shape or form, right? But he claims to this day that he had nothing to do with it. So following his win, Jahner says he's really going to be focusing on public safety.
Perfect. All right, there was a couple big constitutional amendments on the ballot from North Dakota as well. The first was passed and will go into effect in January of the coming year. That measure creates term limits for both state legislators and the governor. So now the governor will be limited to serving 2 4-year terms. And then for state legislators, they're going to be limited to serving 8 years in the state house and 8 years in the state senate. So that could potentially be a total of 16 total years.
Wow, yeah. Second measure North Dakota voters decided on was the legalization of recreational cannabis. This is something that I was talking about this morning as well. 55% of voters actually rejected that measure, with about 45% approving it. So not really too close, especially that was as of like 99% of precincts reporting at that point. But if this did pass, it would have legalized the personal use and possession of recreational cannabis up to 1 ounce, I believe, for adults 21 and up. They would have been able to grow a certain amount of cannabis as well, but that did fail to pass in North Dakota.
Just a side note, also in South Dakota, the same type of measure also failed. So kind of interesting, just a tidbit there for you.
Yeah, definitely.
On the national landscape, of course, there's a lot of those races that people have been keeping an eye out for control of Congress, whether the power would shift from Democrats to Republicans and what that could kind of look like. So overnight, that we did actually learn that John Fetterman, was going to be the winner in Pennsylvania for that open Senate seat. Now, you'll recall that former President Donald Trump had endorsed Dr. Mehmet Oz for the Republican seat in the Senate. And so it was a very speculated on race going into it. Right now, ABC has called that race for John Fetterman. So that's pretty interesting. Another big key race that we were keeping an eye on across the nation was that race for senator in Georgia, and it was sitting Senator Raphael Warnock versus, of course, the known football player down there in Georgia, Herschel Walker. There's been a lot of fireworks surrounding that race with different things as well. Right now, it's too close to call. I believe they each have 49% or so of the vote, and it's probably going to go to a runoff. So in Georgia, if the winner doesn't get 50%, it goes to a runoff regardless. So that's very much so within the realm of possibility right now.
Wow, yeah. Very, very, very good context there, Scott. Okay, Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, 9 to 11, WDAY Extra, InForum.com. Dom always talks about sports. Obviously, anyone who's a sports junkie right now watching this, you guys already know. So anything sports related, of course, Dom will probably cover it, all the important things. Make sure you go join him on his show, Hot Mic 9 to 11, WDAY Extra, InForum.com.
Yeah, and for 99 cents a month, we got to tell you about this promo that we've had going for a little while now, but we don't know how long it's going to last. So take advantage of it. You can, for 99 cents for your first 3 months, get an all-access pass to InForum.com where you can get all sorts of great content. So take advantage of that, folks.
Definitely. All right, we got you covered again, of course, starting at 11 with our newscast with Becky Parker and Dillon Vogt, and then we start our evening newscast coverage as well from 4, and then 5, 6, 9, and 10. Hopefully I covered all of those. I think I did. So much to remember.
Yeah.
But, of course, make sure you tune in for all of your weather-related information. Of course, you can rely on our Storm Tracker weather team because we want to make sure everyone is ready for this.
Big-time team coverage going on with this winter storm event.
Exactly. So, and then we'll be back here tomorrow morning from 5 to 7, so hope you can join us, and we'll see you then.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a good day.